The ghostly children. There was a house on the outskirts of town, shrouded in overgrown ivy and whispers of abandonment. The locals avoided it, calling it Hollow Ridge Manor, a place tainted by darkness. It was said to be cursed, haunted by the laughter of unseen children. When I bought the property, I dismissed the tales as mere superstition. A dilapidated mansion with decades of neglect was the perfect project for my dream of turning old houses into vibrant homes. I was confident that the eerie stories were just that, stories. The day I moved in, the air was unnervingly still, the kind of silence that pressed against your ears. The creak of the front door echoed as I stepped inside, my footsteps stirring a faint layer of dust on the floorboards. Despite its disrepair, the house retained a haunting beauty. Sunlight filtered through shattered windows, casting fractured patterns on the walls. But then I noticed something peculiar. A faint giggle drifted through the air, light and fleeting, like a child playing hide-and-seek. My rational mind attributed it to the wind whistling through the cracks in the walls, but deep down, a chill settled in my gut. The first few nights were uneventful. I spent hours cleaning and organizing, trying to erase the gloom that clung to every corner. Yet, as the moon rose high, the atmosphere changed. Shadows stretched longer than they should, and muffled whispers began to echo from rooms I hadn't entered. On the third night, I heard it again, a giggle, soft and playful, followed by the faint patter of tiny footsteps above me. My heart raced as I climbed the stairs, flashlight in hand, the beam cutting through the oppressive darkness. The sound led me to the nursery. The door creaked open, revealing a room frozen in time. A rocking chair swayed gently, though there was no breeze. Toys were scattered across the floor, some covered in a thin layer of dust, others inexplicably clean, as if recently touched. Then, I saw it, a tiny handprint smudged on the cracked glass of the window. It was too small to belong to an adult. I told myself it was impossible. There hadn't been children in this house for decades. But as I turned to leave, a melody floated through the air. It was a lullaby, faint but unmistakable. My pulse quickened, and I fled to my room, slamming the door shut behind me. The following morning, I decided to investigate the house's history. I unearthed a tragic tale in the town's archives. Hollow Ridge Manor had once belonged to the Whitaker family, who had perished in a fire over 70 years ago. The parents and their 3 young children had been trapped inside, their remains never recovered. The knowledge unsettled me, but I was determined not to be swayed by ghost stories. That night, however, the house had other plans. As I lay in bed, I heard the unmistakable sound of marbles rolling across the wooden floor outside my room. The soft thuds of the marbles bouncing off the walls sent shivers down my spine. Summoning courage, I opened the door. The hallway was empty, but at the end of it, a marble rolled slowly to a stop. As I approached, I felt a shift in the air, colder, heavier. And then I saw them. 3 children stood at the edge of the corridor, their faces pale and eyes gleaming unnaturally in the dim light. They didn't look malevolent, but their presence was deeply unsettling. The tallest, a girl with braided hair, held a doll missing one eye. Beside her stood 2 boys, their hands clasped tightly together. "Are you lost?" I stammered, though I knew the question was absurd. They didn't respond. Instead, They turned and disappeared into the nursery. I didn't follow. The next day, I noticed changes in the house. Objects moved on their own. Chairs shifted positions. Doors opened and closed without reason, and the faint smell of burnt wood lingered in the air. The most disturbing thing was the laughter. It echoed through the house at odd hours, sometimes playful, sometimes chillingly close. One night, I woke to the sensation of being watched. The girl with the doll stood at the foot of my bed, her expression unreadable. "Help us," she whispered before vanishing into thin air. Her plea haunted me. I became obsessed with understanding their plight. The archives revealed that the Whitaker children were rumored to have been locked in the nursery when the fire broke out. Some claimed the father had started the fire in a fit of madness. Others believed it was an accident. I decided to confront them. Armed with a candle and a handful of old toys I had found in the attic, I entered the nursery. Placing the toys on the floor, I called out to them. "I'm here to help," I said, my voice trembling. "What do you want?" The temperature in the room plummeted, and the candle flickered violently. The rocking chair began to move again, faster this time. The lullaby returned, but now it was distorted, warped into a haunting dirge. The girl appeared first, followed by the boys. They pointed to the floor beneath the crib. Digging through old floorboards wasn't something I had anticipated, but their insistence left me no choice. Beneath the crib, I found a small compartment. Inside was a charred box containing photographs, a singed diary, and a gold locket. The diary belonged to Mrs. Whitaker. Her final entries revealed a chilling truth. Mr. Whitaker had gone mad, convinced that the children were possessed. He had set the fire, believing it was the only way to save them. When I looked up, the children were gone. For the first time, the house felt lighter. I thought perhaps uncovering the truth had set them free. But I was wrong. That night, the whispers returned, louder and more insistent. The children no longer appeared innocent. Their faces twisted with anger and despair, their eyes hollow pits of darkness. "You promised to help us," they cried, their voices overlapping in a cacophony of rage. "I tried," I shouted, backing into a corner. "You didn't save us," the girl said, stepping closer. Her doll's head turned on its own, its one remaining eye glinting malevolently. The walls began to shake, and the room filled with smoke. I felt the heat of flames licking at my skin, though there was no fire. The house was reliving its final moments, and I was trapped in its memories. "Please," I begged, "tell me what to do." The girl's voice was cold and final. "Stay with us." The last thing I saw was their outstretched hands, pulling me into the darkness. Hollow Ridge Manor still stands, its windows shattered and its doors chained shut. Locals say they hear laughter and screams emanating from within, and at night, shadows of children can be seen playing in the yard. No one enters the house anymore. Those who do never come back.